So first slide is who is Russell? Who am I? I'm the International Disability Rights Advocate at UCLA. I'm 35 years old and I was diagnosed with autism when I was 12 after 5 weeks in a psychiatric ward for severe obsessive compulsive disorder, paralyzing anxiety and phobias, and depression. I was diagnosed with autism in 2003 when it wasn't very familiar to people. In 2003, when I was 12 years old, I was a prisoner inside my own body. I wore a hood all the time, never made eye contact, struggled to even leave the house, and I certainly didn't speak to anybody outside my family. I was terrified little boy. After my diagnosis, I had to drop out of public school in the 5th grade due to a lack of accommodations from my school district, and ultimately just had to take online classes for the next 7 years at home until I got my GED at age 19. Losing that one bridge to society in the form of physical schooling, I lost contact with the world. Society forgot about me. I was struggling at home, trying to figure out, how to reconnect with society with no support from the outside world. I never lived out my teenage years. I never was able to go to college. I never even lived out my 20s. It's been a long, lonely, isolating, painful road. And it still is. This past weekend, I had a meltdown, which are common for me. They include me rocking, sitting on the ground crying, because this world is too much for me. This world is too much for a lot of people. And when we break down, we tend to feel like we're weak or ashamed, not knowing that it means you care. It means you care, and that pain is telling you something. It's telling you what is important. So I moved to Los Angeles 4 years ago at the age of 30 to become fully independent for the first time in my life. First 3 decades of my life, I was attached to my mom's hip. I moved to LA 4 years ago. First time in 18 years, I'm trying to make friends. And first time I have friends in 18 years. I'm experiencing all the things I never got to experience as a teenager or in my 20s, all at the same time right now. And it's a jam-packed life, existentially. I've missed out on a lot and I'm trying to make up for it all, but it burns me out too. And I only have so much energy. And that's another reason I have my meltdowns. It's kind of like when you update your phone, you have to shut your phone down for it to install the software. I have to shut myself down. I have that meltdown, then I come back twice as strong. So what is autism? The Greek etymology of the word autism loosely translates to a state of self. I have a very rich inner world. I am an inwardly focused individual. See, I may be presenting now, but not necessarily my autism. When I was little, society told me to hide my autism, to hide my true self. Don't rock me back and forth, Russell. Russell, look me in the eye. Take your hood off, Russell. Don't cry when your mom just dropped you off at school, Russell. I was always told to be normal. And so I had to learn how to hide myself, and I lost myself. When people say to me now, be yourself, I really don't know who that is. Because the only time I feel safe enough to show my autism is in my house, by myself. And that's unfortunate. But I bring it out through my public speaking. I'm more comfortable on a stage in front of hundreds and thousands of people than I am in a one-on-one conversation. And in that, I'm a walking contradiction. I lose, and I also win. So what is autism for me? It means exiting my state of self every single day to try to be part of this outside world. And a lot of people want to include me in their activities, include me in society, and that's great, and I really appreciate that. But very rarely do I get to include people in my life, in my state of self. Show them my idiosyncrasies, my unique perspectives, and bring them into my world and walk them around. I get lonely in my world, and to this day, it is very difficult to make friends. I am still very isolated. The majority of the time that I'm around people is public speaking. I still have anxiety, still have depression, still have severe OCD. Those struggles have not left me behind, rather I have found my strength because of them. All right, what is disability? Disability is not a flaw. It's an aspect of the human condition. Disability is the largest minority group in the world. Over 1.3 1.3 billion people on the planet have a disability. And guess what? It's a community that we are all going to be a part of sooner or later, short-term or long-term. You have a broken leg, you're disabled. Maybe only for 8 weeks, but you're part of our community. We're all going to be in it. In the United Arab Emirates, they don't use the word disability. They call the disability community people of determination. Because who's more determined to wake up every single day and get out of bed and try to be in a world that was not made for them? So disability is not a bad thing. I like saying I have a disability. Some people say, I don't see your disability, Russell, or, maybe you have a superpower. No, I become disabled. I cannot live the life I wish to live, unfortunately, because autism gets in the way of me. I am scared of that which I desire most in my life, another walking contradiction. But I go towards what I'm scared of every single day. And yeah, I'm going to have my meltdowns. I'm going to fall flat on my face. But at least I'm moving forward when I fall flat on my face. So what is pain? Pain is something that society tells us to not show, to run away from, to hide. Fake it till you make it, they say. Well, there are many times I can't fake it, and there are many times I can't make it. And that's okay. You don't have to be perfect. You can go ahead and cry. You can go ahead and struggle. You can go ahead and feel ashamed of yourself and feel worthless. Feel all of it. Don't run from it. Feel those unpleasant moments, because that friction within you is slowly building your resilience. It is sculpting you, much like an artist sculpts a piece of marble. Don't think the sculptor is easy on the marble. He has to chip at it, and chip at it, and chip at it. My heart gets chipped at every day. My soul gets chipped at every day. My spirit gets chipped at every day, and it has created a beautiful sculpture because of it. So what is passion? Well, the Latin etymology of the word passion comes from the Latin word pati, which means to suffer and to endure. You've heard of the Passion of Christ? It's the suffering of Christ. I firmly believe that my pain, my suffering, led to my passion. I started writing poetry in my early 20s. When I was lost, when I wanted to be in college and have dating experiences and friends, and while I'm supposed to be in the prime of my life, I am at home crying on the sofa because I only know my mom and dad, and I wanted a life. And I didn't know what to do with not only the struggle, but quite honestly, the bitterness I felt from being left behind by a world that never accommodated me. And so I put all that frustration, all those struggles into a poem. And to be able to put my suffering, that which society made me feel ashamed about, onto a piece of paper and create a piece of art out of it, there's really nothing more cathartic and empowering than that. My pain gave rise to my passion. I found my passion through suffering. And to be able to create something with my pain, art would cease to exist if there was not suffering in this world. So when you're going through a moment, and you're hurting and you're feeling, express yourself. Whether that's verbally or through the written word, or maybe even just tapping your hand on your thigh when you're sitting on the ground crying. Express yourself. Move with the pain. Move with it. Don't move against it. That causes more pain. Move with it, because it's telling you to go somewhere. And it's often those who hurt most in life who are the ones who actually have the most meaningful life. Who is Heraclitus? Heraclitus was a 6th century BC pre-Socratic Greek philosopher. He once said that strife is justice. What he meant is that strife or struggle is not a flaw in the system, rather it is the system. Everything comes into being through strife. Whether that's a little sapling bursting through the rigid earth in order to grow into the mighty oak tree, whether it's the universe being created after the Big Bang, an explosion. Some pine cones are only able to release their seeds and propagate during forest fires. Fire, that which destroys also creates. There's two sides to every coin. Often though we look at pain and we just see that one side of the coin, we don't turn around and see the passion and the purpose behind it. So Heraclitus, strife is justice. We come into this world in a very painful way. We go from the comfort of our mother's womb that we've been in, and the only thing we've ever known, to a room with bright lights, blood, sound, and creatures we've never seen before. It's pretty painful for the mother too. Pain gives birth to something only if you have the courage to create something out of it. So don't turn your back on the struggle. Turn around and stare back at the struggle. Because much like when you wake up in the middle of the night, maybe to use the restroom or do something, and you're in the dark and you can't see, after about 10, 15 seconds, you start to become more familiar. More familiar with the darkness because you're used to it. They say that those who know how to suffer less because they get good at it. And they know how to navigate the darkness more than those who run away from it and at one point or another are in the darkness for the first time they can't escape. So what is purpose? Purpose for me is utilizing my pain to evolve in passion, nurture that passion, into spreading awareness about autism, about disabilities, about people who feel different, about people who are outcast and sidelined by society, and no matter how many times we try to get into the game of life, we're told, no, you just gotta watch from the sidelines. My pain motivated me. My pain continues to motivate me. Sunday night, I was listening to music and I was crying for about half hour. And it was very deep pain. I'm a very sensitive creature. And some people think that means I'm weak. No, I think it means I care. Because I care about the world so deeply, and I am hyper-aware. This world takes its toll on me. And so my moments when I literally crumbled to my knees, I used to think I was weak. I still feel weak. But I know that when we struggle, we're not weak. We actually have to be our strongest to get through that struggle. The word win, dictionary definition, is gaining something through a struggle. Everybody likes to win in life, but you gotta struggle first. Struggle always comes before the win. And a lot of people like to talk about winning, but they don't often like to talk about the struggle. So disability does not equate to inadequacy. Still to this day, having invisible disabilities, I get misunderstood quite frequently. When I am in a social gathering and I'm very uncomfortable and I go into my state of self, I'm that weird guy in the corner of the room who doesn't know what to do and pretends to be on his phone because I want to connect with people, I just don't know how the hell to do it. So I feel less than, and society is making me feel less than. But I realize that because my life is so difficult, I wouldn't have found my purpose. Because when we go through pain, we tend to question. We tend to be curious. Why me? Why now? Why again? We become philosophers when we go through pain. And if you can generalize that curiosity into your entire existence, why am I here? That's how you move forward. A lot of people don't find their purpose because they don't accept the pain that comes before. Friedrich Nietzsche, he said, "He who has a why can bear almost any how." He who has a why can bear almost any how. So disability is not inadequacy. And again, it's a community we're all going to be part of sooner or later, long-term, short-term. I used to apologize for my existence. I used to apologize when I had to cancel plans last minute, when I had a meltdown, and then people would get mad at me thinking I'm just flaking out, not knowing that I'm breaking down on my floor at home. I used to apologize for that, but no longer. And you don't have to apologize either. You do not have to apologize for how difficult your life is. You do not have to apologize for crying. You do not have to apologize for not wanting to smile. Authenticity will carry you a long way in life. And the only way you can ever truly listen to your heart is to stay authentic and pure. We all mask. We all mask in life. We all have to put on certain fronts in different environments to protect ourselves. It's a defense mechanism. At the same time, we need to take off that mask and take those baby steps outside of your comfort zone. Those baby steps will take you a long way. It's not going to be right away. It's going to take some patience. But after a while, you look back over your shoulder and realize how far those baby steps have taken. Confucius said, "It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop." And Abraham Lincoln said, "I walk slowly, but I never walk backwards." There's a reason that the ancient Greeks, at the side of their oracles, had the words "know thyself" inscribed on the temples. Self-awareness is the most powerful thing for humans to attain. But it's painful. It's not fun learning about ourselves. We can distract ourselves with going on our phone and just kind of zoning out, using substances, doing things, getting in relationships we probably shouldn't be in, just to try to tell ourselves that we are okay and fine. But it's only through the pain that you know what you're capable of. You don't know what you're capable of until there's a challenge in front of you. And that goes for anything, externally or internally, when it comes to difficulty in your life. So who is Sisyphus, to wrap it up? Sisyphus was a Greek god. He was a Greek god who was a trickster. He pulled a lot of pranks on the other gods, and the gods really didn't like him for that. So when Sisyphus died, the other gods sought revenge and damned him to eternity, pushing a huge boulder up a hill. Only to get to the top of the hill, thinking he finished his task and watch it roll all the way back down. And you go back down and push it back up, and he does this for eternity. Why does Sisyphus keep going? Why is Sisyphus resilient in the face of what he knows will not be success? One could say Sisyphus is naive. But guess what? Even if he is naive and hopes that boulder stays that millionth time, guess what it's all about? Hope. You cannot be hopeful without a little bit of naivete. Society says you're naive and it's kind of offensive. Let's change our perspective on what certain words mean. Struggle, pain, naive. It's okay to be this and that. It's okay to be everything that you are, not just the one version of yourself that is accepted by others in your life. Because the most important thing you can do is accept yourself. And so Sisyphus has endless optimism. He has hope. He has hope that even though it probably won't work out when he pushes a boulder to the top, he's still going to try. And that's the only true failure in life. It doesn't really matter the outcome. As long as you try your best. Only true failure in life is not trying. So try. You're not always going to make it. You're not always going to accomplish your dreams. That's why it's important to always dream. Keep dreaming. The more dreams you have, the more of them will likely probably come true. Not all of them, but more of them. So keep trying, keep dreaming, and keep being resilient. And with this, I will wrap it up with a spoken word poem based on Sisyphus. Enjoy my life that is unknown, destined to drown in woe. Self-reflection, my biggest foe, grasping to let things go. My hands I clench, my fists I shake, frustrated at this pain. Tissues drenched in tears that make the shirt with salted stains. This poem I write to ignite the fire held within. My light shines bright despite the blight that rests under my skin. Shaken nerves, rushing blood, muscles though so tense. Tears build up my eyes as they flood, relief I know not whence. My 2 cents is innocence, my life makes perfect sense. Even though my innocence breeds pain that is immense. Yet still I seek elusive hope until my dying day. I put away the stool and rope way back in the day. So here I sit, in deep thought of what despair has brought. A broken heart, a shattered soul, this life I know not what. Has in store for such a lad like me who feels so much. Inner wounds yet to stab, the thoughts to just give up. Yet roll this rock uphill this will, summit the top and stop, to watch the rock roll down the hill, the never-ending jump. So brush the dust off me I must, and trace my steps downhill, to trust that there is something more in this life not yet fulfilled.